I give you a practical solution in how each and every single one of us can remain firm and committed upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's worship. Al-ulama rahimahumullah, they said, and the principle I want to share with you, it's derived from the words of Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. Very beautiful. He said, اجعل لك في كل مضمار سبقا به تبدأ ومنه تنطلق وإليه تعود. Excellent standard and a principle when it comes to the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal after Ramadan. He said, set a standard for yourself from every type and form of worship. I'll explain to you and I'll give you an example. Set a standard for yourself for every type of worship. Once you set this standard, then take off from that standard and go back to that standard. Let me explain through an example. If we were to look at the worship of the night prayers, that's a worship. That's something we did 30 nights. The idea is this: set for yourself a standard, a bare minimum. Meaning, you will agree with yourself that after Ramadan, I am going to pray at least 2 rak'at at night. Every single night. That's the minimum. And in addition to this, 1 rak'ah witr. So that's my 3 rak'at. It could be 1 rak'ah. It could be al-witr. Anything, no problems. 1 rak'ah. Okay, that's your standard. On certain nights that you feel and you find energy within you, do more than that. Pray 8 rak'at, pray 9, 10 rak'at, no problems. But on the days in where you're lazy and you're tired and you're bored and you're fatigued and drained, then at least don't go underneath your standard. Pray that 1 rak'ah and go to sleep. This is what is meant. And this is the best way to remain stable and firm in your worship. And don't belittle this thing. Rather, this is a matter, if you were to adhere to, is beloved to Allah Azza wa Jal. Because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, أَحَبُّ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلَّ. The most beloved deeds to Allah are those that are consistent, even if they were small. And then you look at the fasting, the worship of fasting, and set a standard for yourself. 1 day a week. Ya akhi, 1 day a month. No problems. Set a minimum standard. If you find energy within you during that month, and you can do more than that, do more than that. Go ahead. Utilize and take advantage of that energy that you have, because it's going to die soon. And when that dies and it settles, then you don't go under your standard and go back to doing 1 day a month. No problems. And we learn this. We don't fall into the same mistakes as others. There's a Sahabi. His name is Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu anhu. He said, Ya Rasulullah, tell me, what should I fast? He was fasting 3 days a month. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him 3 days a month. He says, I can do more than that. He said to him Monday, Thursday, he goes, I can do more than that. He goes, do 1 day on, 1 day off. He said, I can do more than this. أُطِيقُ أَكْثَرَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him, this is the best fasting, the fasting of Dawood. 1 day on, 1 day off. So he said, I did this. And then after Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam died, Abdullah ibn Amr reached an old age. He said, I wish I had taken by the advice of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now he's old. He's finding it difficult to fast 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. But radiyallahu anhu, he continued that until the end of his life, because how was he going to leave something that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam approved him of before his death? So he felt embarrassed, but it was very difficult and draining for him. So the idea is learn and apply for yourself. Take a minimum standard for every worship and commit to it, because the commitment upon the worship will always remind you of Allah Azza wa Jal. It will keep you on that path in where you are ready to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at the worship of Adhkar al-Sabah wal-Masa, the remembrance of Allah in the day and in the night. Set a standard for yourself. The bare minimum could be, I will have to read Ayat al-Kursi every morning and every evening. That's the minimum. Don't drop. If you find energy and time during that morning or that afternoon, increase on that. Maybe say all 24, 25 of them. But if you find that you had no time, you're rushed, then you go back to your standard and read the Ayat al-Kursi and move on. Wallah, my brothers and sisters in Islam, in this way, you feel comfortable. You feel that you are connected with worship. You feel that you are active, you're alive, that you haven't disconnected, haven't withdrawn and moved far away. This is what the worship does. This is the kind of peace and tranquility that the worship offers by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us acceptance. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us firm upon la ilaha illallah, upon the right path until we meet Allah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.